Roland, in the words of the great prophets, Wu-Tang Clan, cash rules everything around me, cream. Get the money, dollar dollar bill, y'all. And beyond even the Hollywood investments, let's remember that one of the first things that Donald Trump did when he got back into office was announce a $1 trillion investment deal with the Saudis into the United States of America. $1 trillion.
Which is bullshit.
And this
which is totally bullshit.
But hold on. He announced that, but then that was to cover up the actual deals they were doing with the Trump organization with the Saudis. They're building a $1 billion Trump Plaza in Saudi Arabia. They're investing another $7 billion in projects through the Trump organization in Saudi Arabia. You're talking about the Jared Kushner, who's negotiating with Iran right now on behalf of America. When he left the Trump administration, he got $2.2 billion from the Saudis for development projects. And as a result of this, the Saudis are now considered what's called a major non-NATO ally of the United States of America, which means that effectively they have their own Article 5 with the U.S. If any country attacks Saudi Arabia, we attack them on Saudi Arabia's behalf. I don't think many people realize that by giving them this designation, we are essentially Saudi Arabia's attack dog. So if anyone goes after the Saudi royal family, if anyone attacks the nation, if anyone tries to invade them, we invade on their behalf. They have a very similar agreement with us that we have with Israel at this point, where we are simply their big brother and we drive the U.S. Navy over in order to protect them. In addition to that, we had a $142 billion arms deal with the Saudi, so where we're now giving them F-35 stealth fighter jets. Now, if you want to know what an F-35 stealth fighter can do, that's what Israel uses every time they fly into Iran to evade the radar and assassinate people. We're now going to give that to the Saudis in order for them to do with it. Who knows what they're going to do with it? We're also giving them 300 tanks and additional investment. So the point is, whatever money they gave to Dave Chappelle is a drop in the bucket, is not even a rounding error compared to the corruption that our government is going through by being in bed with the Saudis. And the fact that this administration, we haven't even got into the Saudi investments into the Trump cryptocurrency scam that exists. We haven't got into the scam, which was Neom City, the Line City that they were going to build, which went from being a 20-mile long futuristic city to like a maybe couple block long experiment that's taking place. This is all international money laundering going on at the highest levels. And nobody at those levels gives a damn about human rights, gives a damn about Khashoggi. And it's interesting to me that this administration uses the argument that we want to defend the rights of protesters in Iran in order to justify invading or bombing and invading them. We want to protect the human rights of women in Iran to justify our military actions, but they say nothing about those same things taking place in Saudi Arabia because they are giving us a bunch of money. And to Chappelle's point earlier, not in this interview, but in his stand-up special, we don't say anything about the number of journalists that Israel has killed during their war in Gaza, their war in Lebanon, their war in Iran, and throughout the region. They've killed hundreds of journalists. And just because they did it with bombs instead of a bone saw doesn't mean that we can absolve them of any of the crimes they've committed. So this idea that somehow any entertainer is supposed to have a higher moral value than the President of the United States and the U.S. government, I think is fanciful at best. And as Dave Chappelle said, this is just an occasion where because he is who he is, all of a sudden the spotlight is placed on him as opposed to the tens of billions of dollars that the Saudis are placing directly into the pockets of Donald Trump and the Trump organization.
Rebecca?
Plus everything that